This is now from Stephen. He's starting today in Pakistan. It's being reported that the country is preparing to seek a fresh bailout from the IMF, Stephen.
That's right. Finance officials are said to be drawing up plans for the new Prime Minister Imran Khan to seek its largest ever rescue package from the International Monetary Fund. The Financial Times among those reporting that a potential bailout could be worth over $10 billion. Now, any such agreement would limit the new leader's power to deliver on his pledge to increase public spending. Although Pakistan's economy is projected by the IMF to grow by more than 5% this year, it is running a massive budget deficit. That's over 5% of GDP. And 10 days ago, the central bank said it only had $9 billion in foreign currency reserves left. That would cover less than 2 months of imports. And meanwhile, the country's finance minister in waiting, Asad Umar, sought to rebut reports that there were no other option available but the IMF, saying that nothing had been ruled out thus far.
What about the markets? How are they starting the week, Steve?
Starting the week in the red, generally a weak start to trading. Mining companies seeing falls at the open, as well as technology firms in Europe. That's after the knocks to the sector in the United States last week. Shares in the brewer Heineken are down 4.5%. That's after their profit figures for the first half of the year failed to meet expectations. You can see the picture there across London, Paris and Frankfurt at the open. Over in Asia, similar picture. Asian shares starting the week in the red. 2 investors there looking ahead to a meeting of the Japanese central bank later in the week, and similar trend for technology shares. They're trading down across Asia as well.
Now, here in France, it is peak holiday season, but the tourism industry outside of Paris hasn't had a very good few weeks, has it?
This is according to a study by the industry group Pro Tourism. They say that earnings for the regions outside the French capital were down by 4% for the month of July. That's compared to last year. And that's despite an increase in the number of French people taking holidays in July. Peter O'Brien has more.
It's hard to believe this beach in the south of France is less busy than usual. But this restaurant owner has had a difficult start to the season.
There are a lot fewer people. I think it's because they're going on holiday later. I think there's 30% less compared to last year.
Outside the Paris region, tourism revenues are down 4% from last year. But in the capital, they're up 10%, thanks to foreign visitors.
I think it's coming to see things like Notre Dame and all the history that's around it is just amazing. So it's lovely to spend a bit of time here.
The food in Paris is very nice, and the lifestyle in Paris is very, very good.
It's the French themselves who've been missing in other parts of France. This year, 300,000 more of them went on holiday in July, but 1/3 chose to go abroad.
On short-haul flights, we've seen a 12% growth this summer. We've also seen a delay because of the Football World Cup. 2 million French people have pushed back their holidays.
Those that went away mainly headed to other Mediterranean countries, with a significant increase in trips to Portugal and Tunisia. The trend may change in the weeks to come, as August remains the traditional holiday period for French people.
Now, Spain, taxi unions set to meet with the government officials today there in their continuing dispute over ride-hailing apps.
This as taxi drivers continue their protests in Barcelona and Madrid. They say they'll do so indefinitely until the government moves to limit the number of licences given to cars from apps like Uber and Cabify. The protests began in Barcelona on Wednesday. They then spread to Madrid later in the week. In some instances, the demonstrations turned violent, forcing Uber to suspend its services in Barcelona. Now, the ministry responsible for the sector has convened a meeting of the relevant parties for later today.
I want to make something very clear in this next story. Is going on reality television, that's reality television, not this kind of television, is it more lucrative than attending some of the UK's top universities, Stephen?
Yes, apparently. According to the economics consultancy Frontier, they say that contestants on the hugely popular British reality show Love Island earn more than graduates of Oxford and Cambridge. Frontier estimates that those appearing on the show can expect to earn around €1.2 million. That's compared to over €900,000 for extra earnings for those who graduate from Oxbridge. That's over their lifetime compared to people who don't go to university.
Wow.
Now, of that €1.2 million, the prize money is only really a small part of that. That's just around €50,000. But earlier this summer, it emerged that more British people applied to appear on Love Island than to study at Oxford and Cambridge. Researchers did include one warning in their research, though, that they said they didn't factor in the potential damage to your reputation from going to a show like that.
There's more place at university as well, because there's only like 6 of them of each sex.
Yeah,
or
it's pretty,
isn't there, looking at those pictures. Anyway, there you go. Now you know. Go on reality TV. Forget university. That's Stephen's advice anyway. Stephen, go on.